This might be a long video. It seemed like a pretty epic quest to get to the 6th gem, just covering a lot of portions of the map. But it seemed like that's where the game came together for me. Suddenly you could pick... Well, actually, I was just talking about how I noticed I had the Mega Stones, but I couldn't use Mega Pokemon yet. And bam, there was Steven, giving me the ability to use the Mega Pokemon. And also, Latios that could Mega Evolve. That's crazy. They just gave you that. They just gave you a legendary Pokemon and its ability to be really, really good. It kind of reminds me of how X just kind of gives you certain things. They're like, oh, do you want a Lucario? Here you go. Oh, do you want a Dragon Pokemon? I'm going to throw them out all the time. It was a little weird, but I don't really use legendaries that much anyway. But I'm sure I'll get around to playing with it eventually. So I finally, now that I was able to use my Mega Stones, I finally could use like Manectric, and I tried that out for the first time and laughed so hard when I saw what it looks like. Someone was like, all right, Manectric, he's a dog, but he's electric, so let's just make him look like a giant lightning bolt. He doesn't even look like he can move. He's so big. It cracks me up whenever I evolve him. It's just like, what is this thing? He almost looks like Pyramid Head from one of the scary horror games. I actually show it to people. It looks silly to me. But Pokemon itself, I don't think it's really changed that much when it comes to like what Pokemon it can handle, what Pokemon it can't handle, what type of Pokemon it is. For me, it's still a really fast Pokemon that can hit with special attack, but that's about it. So it doesn't seem like a Pokemon changing Mega Evolution is what I'm saying. I still like it though. I did figure out, in addition to the paralysis electric move thing, which I mean that's pretty much what I always do with electric Pokemon. I kind of guess like how good they are depends on how many additional things they can do besides just attack things that are weak to electric. And he actually he can learn Overheat, so I taught him that, and that'll be a pretty good move, especially if he has to fight grass Pokemon. So the one other Mega Evolution I've dealt with is the Mega Sceptile, and it definitely looks badass. It's got like the giant tail, which either looks like a harpoon or a Christmas tree. And I think one of those things is cooler than the other, but it was an interesting ability, Lightning Rod. I wasn't expecting it to be able to take electric moves. We'll have to see how that works out and how that synergizes with other things. It'll probably go great with my Gyarados if I ever actually wanted to fight people online. I don't want to fight people online. I'm really bad. But Dragon Grass doesn't sound like the greatest type to me. I know it's 4 times weak to Ice, and I haven't really thought about the pros and cons of it otherwise, but Dragon's not really as good as it used to be, so I don't really know what to think about that. Speaking of which, if Dragon's not good as it used to be, I don't really need an Ice Pokemon in order to take out that one dude on the Elite Four that has all those Dragon Pokemon, right? So I could just use basically my Fairy type, right? The Gardevoir that I've got that I'm definitely going to use. But I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. The Flying Gym wasn't too much of a problem. I pretty much was able to take it out with a combination of my electric Pokemon and Manectric and Magneton that I had, and the Graveler that's kind of kicking ass at this point. I don't know if I'm going to use him from now on since he's kind of used his purpose, but he did pretty well. But I guess my core team at this point is going to be Sceptile, Manectric, Gardevoir, and those are probably the only locks. I've been using a Camerupt just because I like Camerupt, but I also recognize he's not the greatest Pokemon in the world. There are a lot of fun Pokemon in this game. Like, you get to a certain point where you have like the ability to use different ones, and I actually went through the original game 3 times with 3 different Elite Four teams just to show that you could, because I was I don't know. I mean, I was bored, I guess. But the game is picking up for me. I'm liking it more. It's a well-made game. We'll see what I think about it when it comes to the 7th gym.